Hello, this is Lokesh from the Soul Freedom Show, and we have a very special guest today, Rashmi, all the way from New Delhi. Rashmi Khilnani, I hope I'm saying it right. Rashmi is actually from the same hometown as mine, New Delhi, and she was born in Chandigarh, which is close to New Delhi. She brings the mystery school teachings of Egypt, India, Tibet, and China. And she has a lot of good knowledge, information, and truth. Welcome, Rashmi. How are you doing?
Doing very well, Lokesh. Many blessings from Mother India, and the world is going through so much right now as we come into this grand awakening time of ascension, of waking up and becoming our multidimensional selves.
Yeah, so great to connect with you. I met you through Charlie Freak, and I enjoyed that conversation. And I think you have a lot of messages. I mean, I don't want to go too much into your background, like you were saying earlier. You have other videos on your YouTube about your background, but I understand, or I should not say understand. Charlie Freak always says, so don't use the word understand. I understand that you have some urgent, important messages for all of us. So why don't you start with that, please?
Well, I'll just quickly introduce myself. I used to be a teacher of many modalities of energy medicine, including I used to teach Reiki Masters, higher levels of Reiki mastery. You have Tibetan Reiki Mastery, then you have your Sui Reiki Mastery, then you have Karuna Reiki Mastery, where you get more symbols and sacred geometry for deeper and deeper healing. And each mastery has several levels. So this was over the years, since the 90s. And then there's three types of Egyptian Reiki Mastery: Sekhem, Seshim, and Sekim. And then there is Rakuke, which is shamanic Reiki mastery, and all these different systems of energy mastery. So it's about self-realization and becoming a master of your own energy, and understanding that everything is consciousness and energy. And so I've worked globally and cosmically in lifetimes, and this time I was born, I feel, to help seed a golden age as never before, where the plan in the cosmos from Prime Creator is for 7 or 8 billion humans to wake up now to unity consciousness, Christ consciousness, to the unified field of awareness, which we understand in quantum physics as well as being the unified field. And I also made a film called I God the Film, where I sold the roofs over my head to do the mission in America. That was more recent, as in, again, 2010, after 2010 was that American mission. And to try and bring some of the so-called, quote-unquote, spiritual leaders of America and the world. We have Amit Goswami, quantum physicist, Deepak Chopra, Mariam Williamson, James Van Praagh, Alan Cohen, Greg Braden, myself speaking on the Divine Mother and the energy perspective. We have shamans, pagans, we have heads of all religious denominations that were interviewed, and also people off the street. I made the film with Neil Donald Walsh, who's very famous for the Conversations with God books and so many other things. And we had Barbara Mark Hubbard, rabbis, and many people. The film is interesting for people at all levels of soul journeying. So we learn to have more tolerance and unity within the diversity of the many paths to the divine. So anyone who teaches that there is only one way, I tend to shy away from that. I have met many gurus, enlightened beings, teachers, masters, healers, shamans, pagans, all kinds of people in my life and in lifetimes, but there is no just one way, you know. Some people do it through what we call in India Bhakti Yoga, which is the yoga of devotion. And this is not asanas, just postures. This yoga means union, as you know, Yogesh. And people in the West just think it's either postures or it's just meditation or whatever. So the mysticism of the East is extremely deep, and many people have had lifetimes in East and West, you know. So I was also guided to sell my temple in London, a little studio, where I had taught the Reiki Masters and healers. It created centers across the globe. And in the last days, I channeled the book, The Divine Mother Speaks, The Healing of the Human Heart. It is energy mastery made simple. I could have created another system called the Hatha system after Sakam in the Reiki, but I didn't want to get into all that ego and politics, which exists ultimately in all sorts of even spiritual groups. So I just created a thin handbook. Anybody can get this on Amazon, Nook, Kindle, Barnes and Noble, etc. If you just Google Rashmi Khilnani, it comes up. These books were specially channeled for this wake-up time. They are not religious books. They are spiritual books, energetic books, and they help you to raise consciousness because they carry the words behind, the energy behind the words. The energies are extremely high today, Lokesh. There is multiple energy work happening morphogenically, which is now what I do. I don't do, I be, and I hold space and I see visions. Well, also, I work with the Ascended Masters and the Archangelics, particularly right now, the color I'm wearing, purple, which is the violet flame, the seventh ray of spiritual freedom, which is Saint Germain. And Saint Germain has created a whole trust because he, was each of the Ascended Masters are in charge of different things. Mahavatar 1008 Babaji, Christ Yogi, who taught Jesus, Moses, Elijah, and many things, the eternal being, which is all that is. Avatar means all that is in a body here now. That was my third book, Conversations with Mahavatar Babaji, and it was called Shiva Speaks. Now, that is all about how to deal with this colossal change and this dance of Shiva for the destruction of the lower octaves, for the creation of the higher octaves. If I tend to jump around, it's to get people out of monkey mind and into more the feeling. So if people wish to receive some healing and some firing of their own DNA and encodings, it's best to feel through what I'm saying rather than intellectualize and ask questions from up here, because monkey mind will just keep us in past and future. And now we are all coming into the glorious moment of now, from now to now to now, because one of the greatest tyrannies is the tyranny of time. And ultimately, it's a man-made construct. Time is simultaneous and it's liquid, and we can use it in different ways and in other dimensions as well. Sometimes it is used, but overall, it's just the now moment.
Yeah, wow, amazing message. Yeah. So you mentioned Babaji. So I read this book called, everybody knows about it, Autobiography of a Yogi. Yeah, that was like one of the turning moments of my life. It just blew my mind. And even the other guy, his teacher, I'm forgetting his name. Who was his? Yeah, Yukteswar. Yeah, Yuktesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a book, very small book, 80 pages. I remember the name. But that one was also, what do you like when you say you connect with the Babaji? Like, is it like through channeling messages, or is it telepathy, or how do you connect with those masters?
So these are several shows, that I could speak for. I could write 20, 30 books on each day of my life. But many years ago in London, I was guided to go to Kriya Yoga again. So in this lifetime, I got reinitiated into Kriya Yoga. Then I was guided to become Leonard Orr's healer.
Right.
And Leonard has brought, I don't know if you know Leonard Orr.
Yeah, rebirthing, right? He talks about.
He was the father of modern Kriya Yoga, which is rebirthing, conscious connected breathing. And I was guided to become his healer across the globe and get him on track. Because his third wife had run away with one of the rebirthers. And, it was part of what Babaji wanted me to do. So Babaji used to appear to me in my studio. I had a 13-foot tall, very humble home after I left my rich husband and 15 homes to do the Buddha thing and come to, after learning meditation, I realized being a jet set and having everything and being like a celebrity was not what it's all about. That I had a calling. And so what people sometimes realize at 50, 60, 80, or in a next lifetime, I realized at a young age that was God's grace. And I did the Buddha thing and left the kingdom and came to zero. I didn't have children. Buddha, so that was nice because my destiny was to hold the Divine Mother energies, which Leonard was the first to recognize that in me and start introducing me, because I get introduced all over the world by other people. Someone calls me a mystic, and someone calls me a healer, and someone calls me a teacher of Reiki Masters, and someone calls me an artist. I'm also doing art of the heart, golden age paintings, and I do dance and I do ceremony and many, many different things. But ultimately, I really carry this energy of nothingness. So anyway, in my studio, Babaji started appearing transcendentally. So I was in India actually at the time when he was in the last body, official body of Here Khan Baba. In this, just for a few years, he manifested as a youth in a cave, not born of a man and a woman. 21-year-old, beautiful, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, very beautiful being. You must have seen the pictures. People can Google. There are many Babajis in India, so let's not get crazy with this. This is Maha Avatar Here Khan Bhole Baba 1008. Okay? So he has appeared many times through many lifetimes in many bodies and can currently be walking the earth in many different bodies. So this is now, going to become a show just on Babaji because it's such a vast subject. And so that is not a human being. And sometimes when they bathed him, he was a man, sometimes he was a woman, because ultimately we are androgyne. We are neither male nor female. And right now it's very important for each of us to bring our internal energies of male, female, which is not gender, into union. And Charlie talks a little bit about this as well, which is that Kundalini energy that rises up, and then it connects to the crown, to the soul star chakra, and then the galactic chakras and source. So another one of my gifts is I bring the nothingness energy, which is the Mahamudra energy, which is covered in my book, Buddha Speaks, to the Buddha Nature Within, where I'm asking the Buddha questions in the now time about how to deal with non-doership, with neti, neither this nor that. These are beautiful, taking the wisdom out of all these teachings rather than the spiritual aspect, the religious aspect, because I'm not really religious in any kind of shape or form. I believe in source and I believe in nature, and I don't believe, I know, it's a knowingness. We're all moving from belief, and concepts are all up here in monkey mind. So when we reach the Buddhi mind, that's another subject. And that again is covered in Buddha Speaks, to the Buddha Nature Within. We are all bodhisattvas. We have come here to, many of us, to continue until all beings are awakened. And this is a collective ascension journey. This is not just about Lokesh, or just about Rashmi ascending, or just about Charlie Freak ascend. This is about all of us together. Yeah. So many of us are in a holding pattern until the collective reaches the next place, and the next place, and the next place. So currently one is in so many different dimensions at the same time. So that's how Babaji started appearing. But now Babaji, through the years, has become one with me. So even when I talk to him and I say, come on, Babaji, because he's very funny. So he might roam around, run around like in a ballerina tutu and be really hysterical. But generally speaking, he won't even speak anymore, because we have one. In fact, many people in America are not even spiritual. They go, you look like this being. And I said, what do you mean? I look like a man? I joke, And they say, no, you have the same energy. So again, it depends on who's coming through. But we all have these energies within us, and we can all tap into all of this through meditation, through stillness, through being in nature, through being simple. It's not about being perfect. And it's definitely not about judgment, it's about discernment. So don't blindly follow everybody. Just be your own, come into your own sovereignty. And that truth, that wisdom, that knowledge, you can use a show or a teacher or a book as a little ladder. And I know that Lokesh, because Lokesh shared with me before the show at another point that one of his favorite books is I Am That by Nisargadatta Maharaj. And actually, when Nisargadatta Maharaj's, I was told by this guy in London who was, a connector for me with spirituality. At the time, I called him my guru, but he was really a musician and my friend, and quite, naughty in many ways, as in, you know what musicians are up to, half rocking and rolling and partying. Right. So Michael said, you will go to India, and in Bombay is Nisargadatta Maharaj's Samadhi. Right. And I didn't realize inside the Shamshan Ghat, which is where we burn the bodies of those that have passed.
Cemetery, yeah.
It's not a cemetery. It's where we burn the body. So it's called the Ghat. Yeah. Yeah. So I used to live in Bombay by the sea, and very further down was the Ghat. by the rocks.
Right.
And I never went there. And because Nisargadatta Maharaj's Mahasamadhi, which is a great being, is not burnt, they are usually put into samadhi, you know, and then
Right.
you can call it a grave in Western, but it isn't.
Yeah.
It's a, and
Right. Right.
so I asked various ex-boyfriends in Bombay at the time, this is years ago, to come with me, and everybody made an excuse not to go.
Yeah.
And then one of my friends, an Osho friend, he came along, and I said, no, 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 you're not sitting in the car. And we meditated there, and I got to see a body burning, and I got to see how the elements go back to what they are, because we
Mhm.
are made of earth, water, fire, air, ether. And I saw the soul going up to the light.
Wow, amazing. So, a couple of things pop up. So, when you talk about Babaji or Nisargadatta Maharaj or other people who have passed on, especially even Osho, like I used to be a big, I mean, I'm still am. Rajneesh Osho is there's nobody like him, and then there's celebrities like Michael Jackson. I mean, I don't want to go too far into the whole East West thing, but what I'm trying to ask is people who have passed away who we kind of love, either spiritually or emotionally or whatever. How, like, is there a way we can connect with them like you do? Can you give us some pointers to that?
Yeah. So either one can go to someone who connects to them,
Right.
or of course they are always with us. And the thing is, there's no separation. Lokesh,
Right.
whole, the whole universe is within us. You know, there's nowhere
Right.
to go. Earth, as I said in Charlie Ward's show, is
Right.
within us. You know,
Right.
the kingdom of heaven. Jesus said that. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Right.
It's outside you. And you can't get to it without becoming still, without being quiet, without switching off the gizmos from time to time,
Right.
without, you can do it through being wholeheartedly in nature and becoming one, where the
Right.
I, the personality self starts dissolving. So with the people that have passed over, you can call them in, you know, if it's your mother, father, whoever it might be, you can say, you know, you become still and you go into a quiet space, and
Right.
then in that quiet space you can play some nice music, or you can just connect to your heart and your soul, and then only in that silence will you hear that soft voice, you know.
Mhm.
Only in the silence will you hear the soft voice of your intuition, of your heart, or of your, you know, buddhi mind, your higher mind.
Right.
So as we say, empty to receive.
Mhm.
You know, be in the Bible, it says, be as a child to go through the eye of the needle. And right now, every single human on the planet, to come into their divinity, we are all becoming angelic humans. So literally, we're feeling pain at the back of the heart there, because the angel wings are reopening, you know, because we had a sleep cycle where we all went into amnesia. And
Right.
now it's time to wake up. And this is a collective ascension. This experiment has never occurred anywhere in the multiverses ever before. So anybody who thinks they know the outcome, nobody does. Even Prime Creator doesn't know the outcome. But
Right.
Christ Yogi Mahavatar Babaji is the Christ Yogi in charge, ascended master in charge of hopefully taking collective ascension, which is all 7.5, 8 billion. But you see,
Mhm.
people within 3D and 4D have free will. And then in 5D, there is no free will, there's just divine will. So when
Right.
you combine your free will with the divine will, then you get the siddhis. The siddhis, as you know, in Sanskrit, it means a celestial gift. So when I was
Mhm.
a kid, I was born with some of these siddhis from previous lifetimes,
Right.
where I may have become enlightened, for example, but as a bodhisattva, I chose to come back into this time space continuum sliver, maybe even from another universe of beauty, just to help the awakening, the grand awakening. And many, many
Right.
beings from many star systems, the Sirians, the Pleiadians, the Galactics, the Melchizedekian beings, Saint Germain, the Ascended Masters, the Archangelics. The truth is, ultimately, it is all inside of us, the whole universe.
Right.
We are all of that. We have to just remember. And the soon, you know, as they say, the dead shall walk amongst us. There's no death. So the
Right.
veils are thinning more and more,
Mhm.
and then the time will come when those gifts will be fully given to everybody. But if we misuse those gifts, that's why they have been, you know, Earth was quarantined. Right now, we're all going through this quarantine drama.
Right.
This is collective shadow that's come up for us to heal. And this is not, you see, it's very important. Truthers is the beginning of the awakening journey. And then you get to where you stop getting us against them. You understand the dark exists within each and every one of us. As Babaji says, every sinner has a future, and every saint has a past. And so judge ye not, yes, yeah, lest ye be judged yourself, you know.
Right.
And or as Jesus said, cast the first stone who has, you know, my language sometimes, because I'm in that other space right now. Because we had the 9 gates and there's so much going on, and we're grounding a lot of this violet flame, because this whole quantum financial system and the, you know, Saint Germain is the in charge of all of this part of the because Saint Germain, like, stood. I live a very abundant life. Wherever I go, they call me a spiritual princess or a spiritual queen or a queen. But the truth is, I don't have a lot of money in the bank, but I live a super abundant life, but also very simple. And the truth is, we all create money out of nothing. And very soon, money is not going to play a role. It's a monopoly game.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned forgiveness. Actually, I was just going to ask you about that. You know, like people talk about, like, you know, deep state and cabal and all this stuff. Like, that's where sometimes I don't understand, people go too much into the hate, and then they forget that at the end of the day we're all one, and like you said, we shouldn't be judging. And then um, how do you think we can forgive those guys, you know, the people who everybody hates, kind of?
By understanding that even if you don't believe in God or source, that we are the quantum field within quantum physics, that explains that. That there is only the unified field of consciousness. So
Right.
in any pantheon, in any way of understanding things, there is no separation. However,
Mhm.
this is a holographic reality. And so we get to be subjects and objects. In the beginning, there was nothingness, there was pure Mahamudra, there was Shunya. That's why my deepest, I have many energies: freedom energy, divine mother energy, divine child energy, gold energy, Lakshmi energy. I give Lakshmi blessings all over the world, and it's hysterical because some of the people I'm blessing are billionaires, and I'm just like, you know, or constantly leaving, you know, homes and this, that, for the mission, which is
Right.
it's good of all concerned and free will of all concerned. So as soon as we do it just for me, and the whole thing was inverted. For 13,000 years on the ecliptic, we were asleep. Now it's the wake up time. It's time. So we don't have to join expensive courses or even read some of the books anymore, though it's all good if we would like to, and we are guided to. It can happen in minutes because the photon, we are fully in the photon belt, and photon is pure light. So forgiveness in absolute reality that you and I understand, because we understand the absolute teachings, because we understand that this, for example, Nisargadatta Maharaj was one of the greatest teachers of the absolute teachings, and people went from all over the world to meet him in this humble house he lived in Bombay. So the absolute teachings teach us that at the core, we are the unified field. There is no separation. There is only unity consciousness. But on the periphery, we get to be the personality self. We get to be Lokesh, Rashmi, Charlie, and, you know, a Mahavatar and a tree and a stone and a galactic and a Syrian and the Cabal. So
Yeah.
within Earth drama, we were given free will for 13,000 years. And so, you know, the Lucifer and all they were just fallen angels. Fallen angels means that they gave up that highest good and free will of all concern. And they started tampering and bending universal law. There's cosmic law, then there's universal law, then there's relative law, and so on.
Right.
And because they did that, they fell. And you see, and these people that fell, they came out of the being whole brained, which is the right and left hemispheres of the brain, into being very left hemispheric, which is the patriarchal system of 13,000 years. Now it's time to come back into not the matriarchal system, which we've also had misuse before that in the matriarchal systems. We had the Amazon women and all that. You know, the women abused the bed. So now it's time to come into that integration of polarity, integration of dark and light, integration of life and death, integration of good and bad. coming into that neutral 0 point. 0 point, Mahamudra, void, nothingness energy, from which then we are heaven on earth. We are the divine child, and we get to play in the fifth dimensional and beyond frequencies that are always beyond time and space. And it's the here now. Then we get to teleport, we get to telepath, we get to all the celestial quantum gifts that are waiting for us on the other side of this drama. So first, you become a truther and you begin to understand that 3D is inverted. Very good step. But then you have to get to the next step, which is thank Team Dark, forgive Team Dark. And yes, there are some people that have to take Team Dark to Guantanamo Bay or wherever it is, but that's not everybody's calling. And so see what's in front of you and what's your mission. Now, how do you do that if you don't know how you feel? Because for 13,000 years, people haven't felt, right? And the systems have been inverted. So the truther begins to understand all of that. Once you understand all of that, you don't become a part of the same thing by going on judging it and fighting against it. What we resist persists. So we come into feeling. How do we do that? Through getting whole brain. How do we do that? You know, Charlie goes through a whole load of stuff you can do like that. You know, all the different teachings teach you that. And one can do it very simply. You know, how do we do that simply? Is to realize on the deepest level that clear the darkness in yourself first before you throw that first stone. And keep clearing every day like brushing teeth. Right. Now, it's not about being perfect and over clearing shadow. Don't over clear your shadow for 20 years, which is what a lot of, lovely spiritual beauties do, where they're over processing. As I say, they're always in the spiritual blender, like for 30 lifetime. Balance, divine balance, wisdom. And that comes just from being still, being in nature, breathing. The breath is everything. And asking, surrendering to receive, allowing to receive. So all the how questions is allow. The energies are going to get you there. And when you serve, whenever we serve, like I'm not serving to get money on Patreon or to get money anywhere. I'm not knocking any of those things. I know people have to pay their bills, but I was asked by my higher self, and my ascended masters, archangelics, and my higher self are all one. I was asked by, my higher self, ascended masters, archangelics, call it what you will, to come out of charging and out of the money game. So I left 15 homes. Then I zero pointed the studio and teaching. Then recently I've zero pointed all my websites. You could get different biographies on me because there's too many bits to it. But you see, we have to let go of everything now and go through that eye of that needle. To go through that eye of the needle, I'm just me, I'm just Rashmi. And even that is, I know I'm not a body. I know I'm nothing. But because I can get to be a queen, I can get to be whatever I want. As long as I'm doing it highest good of all concern, free will of all concern. And with my feeling body, not with my left hemispheric, logical, linear mind.
Yeah. Wow. So you mentioned breathing, right? Like, what do you think because of this masking and all this stuff going on? I hear that people are actually getting affected.
Whatever I've shared so far, am I making sense, or is it?
Oh, sorry, your voice was breaking.
Yeah. Whatever I'm sharing, am I making
definitely,
sense?
Definitely. It is connecting the dots for me. Yeah, definitely. I think the voice is breaking up a little bit, but I want to bring up a topic which is, like on top of a lot of people's mind, which is about, the virus and the masking. Because you mentioned breathing, what I hear is because of people wearing masks, the breathing is getting affected, which can create a lot of problems for people. So do you have any understandings or overstandings about how people can get over this phase of pandemic kind of a thing?
Well, each one is on their own journey. So each one has to make their own choices based on their own hearts. But a lot of people don't know how they feel. So, start getting simple and disconnecting from all that is not real. Either one is going to do that or it's all going to crumble and destruct around one. So it's not about, you have to give up 15 homes
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. Like, it's about giving up the clinging, which is covered in my book, Buddha Speaks to the Buddha Nature Within. And just some simple spiritual practice, connects us to how we're feeling. And so if you're highest in a feeling, once you connect to it, because most people don't even know how they're feeling, they're just busy chasing the tail or paying the bills or doubt, fear, worry. So if you need to
Right.
go and see a healer, for everybody it's going to be different. Somebody may need to see a healer, somebody may listen. But now all of this, everybody's broadcasting. So get
Right.
guided to something and then get into nature, sit under a tree and empty to receive. When you empty to receive, the
Mm-hmm.
wisdom of the moment comes to you. Now, when the wisdom of the moment comes to you, if the wisdom of the moment is for you to wear your mask, then who am I to tell you not to? However, based on just basic common sense, but people can disagree with this. For me,
Right.
wearing the mask is just really not a no. However, if I'm around people, because I live in hotel caves now for the last 12
Mm-hmm.
years, because I'm serving humanity in 3 different continents and working behind the scenes for the different collapses. And we don't do the collapses as like, CIA agents. We do it by holding frequency of deep beingness meditation, and it just happens because you're vibrating at that high frequency. So that's shining a massive light for miles and countries and whatnots. And so
Right.
out of out of Washington D.C., out of London, 24 years holding that frequency of the busiest road into Kensington and Chelsea, near Princess Diana's palace. Meeting some of these people. I have met some of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've met Prince Charles. I've met, Prince Philip. He walked into the room. I was the only one who didn't curtsy. And, I've been talking to Trump's higher self now for the last 4 years. I never watch TV, but when I'm guided, I do. And so for Trump's, we were holding energy and frequency for him to come in. Now, we're not into
Mm-hmm.
politics, but you see, the light can come from a sweeper, or it can come from a fakir, it can come from a yogi, and it can come, in this case, from a politician. He was not a politician, but he was chosen for the job.
Right.
And now all the ascended masters and the other beings, particularly Saint Germain. Currently I'm working with Saint Germain. I'm not always working just with Saint Germain. Sometimes I'm working with Babaji, sometimes with Lord Ganesha, sometimes with the Mahalakshmi energy, sometimes with Melchizedekian beings, sometimes with Archangel Gabriel or Archangel Raphael and Christopher, the archangels of frequency medicine and so on. So the mask, you are, we don't need to get into it because everybody knows the pros and cons. So, but when I'm around people in my hotel, I just carry some tissue, like some napkins, and I just to
Mm-hmm.
show some respect,
Right.
and I
Yeah,
and I
respect. Right.
I keep a distance. I keep a distance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm mostly
Right.
I'm outside. Now when people come into my room, because some of the hotel tribe are my friends, every day my room, it's all you know how it is in India. It's all a ritual. It's not like you just get it
Yeah.
cleaned and you leave. They're all with you, and it's all like it's community. And so I told each of them, please don't, I know you are doing it for your job,
Mm-hmm.
but this is not good for you.
Yeah.
So most of them luckily have agreed, and 1 or 2 of them still are scared for their job or scared. There are so many reasons why people are wearing. And so I respect that because I
Right.
respect people's
Yeah.
will, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
I don't
I
like
know. I think. I know. I know. I think. Yeah. It's just the fear. I think people. The media puts so much fear. Right. I think that's the main reason. If people just stop watching TV, I think yeah, most of it will be gone. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, so why don't you tell us? You mentioned healing. I want to just give people a message about what kind of services you provide, and if people want to get in touch with you, how can they get help from you, or whatever healing from you?
I don't do any of that anymore, as I've told you, because I can't hold frequency for the planet
Okay.
and be. I can't if I'm. You see, most spiritual leaders and teachers are so busy doing, they don't even have time to answer the telephone, right? And so I've been taken away from those things. One gets into deeper spaces.
Right.
So I'm normal. I'm very normal. I'm an urban shaman, but I'm extremely
Yeah.
normal. and I'm right in the heart of Delhi. I'm right in the heart of London. I'm right in the heart of DC. I'm right in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains, very close to all kinds of places that we won't get into, but you can understand what goes on. And but you see, I'm also very normal. I don't
Yeah.
entourage
Right.
a guru, and you know, if I was still in the money game, the future, the money game is going to be collapsed. In the interim, there will be a gold standard, golden age, gold standard. I've known this for years. You know, I've known for years that Saint Germain and and many
Mm.
others are working for this behind the scenes. None of these are new plans. These have been going on for many, many, many lifetimes, and this is the wake up
Mhm.
time. You see, as a cosmic being, one is eternal, so it's all very. So I would recommend people read the books and get the film if
Mhm.
they're guided. And you know, they will these are handbooks for life, very thin. They're not like Nisargadatta Maharaj and all the big ones. This
Mm.
is very simple. It is simplified, and it is all question and answer in the Buddha speaks and Shiva speaks. And Divine Mother speaks, I'm channeling the goddess Hathor, the goddess of beauty, harmony, sacred tantra, of ancient Egypt, of the sky, and music and dance, and Heros Gamos, which is the marriage of Shiv Shakti, the inner alchemy, which comes from balancing the doing with the being, the right and the left hemispheres of the brain. So, and you know, if you Google Rashmi Khilnani, all the radio shows come up, and I've done hundreds, you know. And the thing is that these are timeless shows, so it could be from 2010 or 2012 or 2008, but these are timeless shows. And each time I listen to them, I get something, because it's just like, you know. And on Facebook, I'm constantly posting
Yeah.
of all things to help raise consciousness. So I send everybody a lot of
Yeah.
blessings and love. I suggest to people to really connect to their own divinity. Never give your, I don't like the word power, because in fifth dimensional frequency and beyond, there's going to be no power. And the truth is, these the dimensions and frequencies and heaven on earth are not places we go to, as I've said. These are frequencies we embody. And so let's all love each other, serve each other, come together in great joy and celebration as we do, you know, like as I do in Osho Lila and near Stonehenge, where I was asked to initiate 150 people from 9 to 90 years of different nationalities into high cosmic heart energies, you know. And even though they weren't Sekhem Reiki Masters and whatnot, we did that, and it was just mind blowing. And that's become a temple now. You know, there were healers and teachers and so many people there, and we danced so much. So, you know, as Osho says, this is he was way ahead of his time. He's an Arcturian being. He said, you know, life is a celebration, and that's what life is. You know, play again, and the simple things. You know, Babaji taught truth, simplicity, and love. You know, Christ taught that the Christ energy is within the second coming of Christ is within each and every one of us. You know, so invoke Mother Mary or invoke Jesus, or you know, just be the child. Once you become the innocent child without all that, I will create to have a bigger following, and you know, then one has missed the boat. Then there's no point pointing fingers at the cabal and the Illuminati. Then we
Yeah.
become the Illuminati ourselves.
Right. Right. Wow, amazing message, Rashmi. And your website is rashmikhilnani.com. I'll post a link on the YouTube and your books on Amazon as well. It was
I
such a
got
pleasure. Yeah.
I got I got is on Amazon, and the three books: The Divine Mother Speaks, The Healing of the Human Heart; Buddha Speaks, To the Buddha Nature Within; and Shiva Speaks, Conversations with Maha Avatar Babaji. Lokesh, what can I send you angels for?
Uh, Nothing
And
really. I'm right now living in the moment. Yeah, because, for me, time is speeding up. Like I feel it's just getting fast. And also, with the whole QAnon, Trump following and connecting with amazing people like you and Charlie Freak, it's just almost like a blessing, like you were saying. Yeah, I can't ask for anything more in life. So thank you so much for joining.
many, many blessings. And I love the Bay Area. You know, you're also shining a light in America. And together together. This is all beyond nationalities. We are entering a very, very incredible time. So much
Cool.
love.
Thank you, Rashmi. Namaste, and we'll connect soon. Take care. Bye-bye.